Good morning, Johan. How are you?
Good morning, Pastor David. Wonderful. How is everybody over in Norway?
We're doing well. We're enjoying Advent, and we're excited about supporting the children in Touch Me Lord Ministries for our Christmas offering again this year. But how are things going there for you?
We have suddenly a lot of funerals and increase of funerals here in Wepener. Just now, a few minutes ago, I was conducting 4 funerals that were taking place, one after the other, moving from the one grave to another grave, to another grave, to another grave. And all people from the age of 22, 23 up to 48, 50 years that have died.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Johan. But speaking
Thank you.
of COVID, um, is the government taking a lot of precautions? Are there many restrictions for you?
Around Free State and here we are not in lockdown or anything. Even though so there is restrictions and all those, but not that people are following. So we find out that locally, even here in Wepener where we are, the taverns that are supposed to have maybe 50 people going to drink alcohol there have sometime on a Friday night and Saturday night up to 400-500 people in a small space like that, in a small building like that, meaning that people are next to one another, standing shoulder to shoulder. And you know how are people that are drinking alcohol, they are zipping alcohol from one bottle to another, giving it to one person and another, and that is contributing to a lot of
Goodness,
corona infections over here,
goodness
as well as
gracious.
the fact that in taverns, there are no control of that. So we have a lot of new infections over here and people getting the coronavirus because there is really no social distancing. Even if you go and see in the month end when people get their pensions, they make a line of about 200 people standing shoulder to shoulder. So there are just no way that they can control the issue of social distancing at some places.
Wow. What about when it comes to Lesotho? I mean, you've got another country there right next door. Is there any restriction for going across the border?
There is restrictions for crossing over the border. You know, this thing of corona have been a very big issue because what happened is that the Lesotho border gate have been locked down since March 2020. And they require, since that time until now, that if you want to pass through the border gate to go to Lesotho, you should purchase a corona certificate. For that, you will have to go to the doctor. He will have to test you for corona. You have to pay 900 Rand. And then when you get a certificate that show that you are negative, you then can go through the border until the next day. And then you got to get another corona certificate again.
900 South African Rand is about 50 US dollars. So they want 50 US dollars every time for every 24 hours so that you cross the border for.
Yes, the border gates are locked down or the border gates are closed unless you have a corona certificate to pass through. But the fences are down for many years now, meaning many people pass through the fences to South Africa and back to Lesotho while the border gates are locked, you know.
So
So it's
there's,
really just a big issue.
yeah, so there's really not any control except for on the main road. So what are you doing to help? Because I'm assuming many are hungry in Lesotho. Like,
There's a lot, Pastor David, because like you know, the restrictions also have been put in place in Lesotho since March, which means that people that survive by selling fat cakes and baked bread and corn and all those little foods they bake at their home and then go and sell it in the industrial places, they all had to stop doing those businesses because of corona and social distancing, sanitizing. They don't have the money to buy bottles and bottles of sanitizer. So many of them have lost their businesses and lost their income. So they have grown poorer and poorer and poorer. So on the end of the day, we find that, the people have really grown poor in Lesotho. They are very, very needy people now in Lesotho more than ever before because of Corona, especially those living in the highlands, those living in rural parts that don't have job, that don't have money, that survive from the help and the love of the neighbors and those who care to give them a meal for the day or some bread to eat or something. So there's a great need.
so help me understand this, Johan. Coronavirus has caused a lot of restrictions in Lesotho. So many of the poor people can't do their normal jobs because of those restrictions. But is Corona causing a lot of people to get sick and die in Lesotho, or is it hunger and a lack of access to food because of these restrictions? What is the main issue they're facing?
I can talk for both countries, South Africa and Lesotho, and I'm quoting the words of a lady not spoken long ago on commercial TV in South Africa, on the primetime news, when they ask her the question, are you not afraid that if you come out here and looking for a job that you will die of corona? And I'm quoting the words of that lady. She's saying, not at all. I'm not afraid of corona to kill me, because corona is not going to kill me. Hunger is going to kill me. And that is the opinion of one lady in South Africa and many in Lesotho, that people is not afraid of corona anymore, because they look at the fact that corona in South Africa and even in Lesotho have not even killed the amount of people this year than flu killed people last year. More people died of flu in South Africa and Lesotho last year than that have died of corona this year in Lesotho and South Africa. So people are not afraid of corona, they're afraid of hunger and famine, and they're afraid they're going to die of hunger. As a result of corona, a lot of people in South Africa and even in Lesotho have lost their jobs, their businesses, and their hopes. They don't have any hope left, and they are hungry, and those people have one fear, and it's the fear of starvation for them and their children.
Okay, thank you. So, Johan, what are you doing? What is Touch Me Lord Ministries doing to get food across if the border gates are closed?
Thank you, Pastor David. Yes, we have decided that we cannot stop feeding just because of corona, because people are in need of those food, and those food are sustaining a lot of families and children so that they don't go hungry. So we have decided, even since the end of March 2020, that we're still going to provide food. If we are not allowed to take it through the border gate, we will look for some other means to get food to Lesotho. So we decided that at night time, most probably at midnight every time, we will take the vehicle, load it full of food and maize and everything that is needed to feed for 1 month, and we will take it to a farm nearby the border gate that are laying south of the border gate at one of the fences that are broken down. So we will ask people from Lesotho to come through with wheelbarrows and to come and pick those food at the farm nearby, and that they can take that food at nighttime through to, so that feeding can still go on. That have brought us into a lot of trouble. You can think for yourself that if you're driving from the direction of the border gate at midnight hours at nighttime, that if the police are patrolling and they find your vehicle coming from the border gate, the first question that they would ask is, where are you coming from that time of the night? What are you doing at nighttime? So, we tell them we are feeding the hungry, and we cannot stop just because the border gate are closed, and we cannot stop just because of corona, because of why should we stop? Because we are afraid of corona, but hunger is killing people. So every time they say, if you do it again, we're going to arrest you. So we just say, yes, then you got to arrest us. If that is what you got to do, what you got to do, and I got to do what I got to do. God called me to feed the hungry, and God called you to arrest those that are offending. So if you want to do your job, do it. I do my job. So they just allow me to do the job that I'm supposed to do because I do it for God. So I don't know if they're afraid because I say it's for God, but they just let me go every time since March and April and May and June, July, August, September, October, and now we're in November, and we still do it, and we still keep on feeding the hungry and feed on more and more people over there and over here. So we cannot allow the coronavirus to stop us what God called us to do. This is the end times. It's the last days, and we got to do what God have called us to do. Jesus say, I got to do my Father's work while it is still day, because night come when no one can work. So truly, Pastor David, we got to do what we need to do now. Now is the time to do so.
Well, we really appreciate what you're doing. I know it's at no small risk to yourself, but we are excited about partnering with you and glad that we are, it sounds like, saving lives through the feeding programs that we're helping fund.